Once upon a time, in the deep forest of Venuvana, a young monk and his teacher were getting ready to sleep after their last loving and kindness meditation. "Master," said the young monk, "what is moment-to-moment living? Do I not live in this present moment?" The master said, "Living in the present is living now, without the past, without the future. What is now is what it is. If you are constantly aware of this moment and this new moment, as if there was no prior or future moment, then you are living moment to moment. Tomorrow we leave to Jetavana forest, where the Blessed One just arrived. You can learn more about this from the Buddha himself." Saying this, the teacher blew off the candle and went back to sleep. The young monk was recently ordained in the Sangha and was very eager to learn everything about Dhamma and Nirvana. Smiling with gratitude and excitement of meeting the Blessed One, the young monk thought, "Oh, what a privilege, what a blessing to see the Buddha himself." Then he reflected on his master's words, "Living now, without the past, without the future," then slowly drifted off to sleep. The next morning, after the daily rituals, the monk started to walk on the long and arduous journey to meet the Buddha. Along the way, the young monk had several questions, and the teacher answered them patiently. The young monk again thought, "Oh, what a blessing to have such a teacher. He is so kind, so knowledgeable." After several days of walking, the monks came across a raging river which they had to cross to reach the other shore. The river was flooded with a recent storm and there was no boat on sight. The two monks decided to walk across a relatively shallow part of the river. As they were about to cross, a young and a beautiful woman approached them. She folded her hands in respect and uttered, "Monks, my mother is weak and sick on the other side of the river. However, I'm afraid to walk across this raging river alone. Can you help carry me?" The monks had taken a vow of not indulging in the samsara and keeping themselves away from all worldly attraction. The young monk, still new to the Sangha, was particularly drawn to her beauty. But then he remembered his vow of not looking and touching women, turned his gaze away onto the ground and started to walk. Just then, he saw his teacher pick up the women on his shoulder and started crossing the river. The young monk couldn't believe what he was seeing. How can the master even touch the woman, let alone carry her on his back? "This is not right," he murmured. "All these years I have been following this monk. My teacher, did I make a mistake?" Disturbed and engaged in his mental debate, he kept following the older monk, occasionally glancing at the sight of the women on his teacher's back. Oh, what a disgrace. As they reached the other side of the shore, the older monk gently put the lady down on the ground, folded his hand in respect, and continued to walk. The young monk was very upset and felt that his teacher has broken the vow and should be reported to the Buddha. After several more days of walking and struggling with his thought, the young monk couldn't contain himself and spoke. "Teacher, we are not allowed to look or touch a woman." "Which women?" "The woman you carried on your back while crossing the river." The older monk, who was still walking ahead of the younger monk, paused, turned around and said, "Oh, that. I do not remember if it was a woman or a man, but I did what I could. I put her down as soon as we crossed the river. Why are you still carrying her with you all these days?" The teacher's words hit the monk like a bolt. Suddenly he realized the meaning of living moment to moment. For 4 days before he met the woman at the river, he was so grateful, so thankful being with his master. And 4 days after, he was disappointed and in contempt. How his mind has been entangled in the web of thoughts, some in the past and some in the future, and missed all the present moments. He was indeed carrying the burden of disgust and anger all these days. Realizing this, he fell down at his master's feet and said, "Forgive me, Master, for what I said. I am truly ashamed." The teacher said, "There is nothing to forgive, for now you have learned what is moment-to-moment living. This is your moment now. Be here now." Saying this, he resumed his walking. The young monk rose up from his knees, folded his hand in respect, and started walking. As he took few steps, the world in this moment started to appear. The crisp, cold air, the sensation of rocks and grass beneath his feet, the sounds of birds, the pattern of color and shapes all around him woke him up. He was alive. He was breathing. He was experiencing the world as is. Tears of joy flowed down his cheek, while his entire body trembled in rapture and joy.